and welcome to Business Connections, a program put on by the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm Holly Allen, Director of Marketing and Communications for the Dayton Area Chamber. Thanks for being with us today. Consider this little fact. About 40%, actually more than 40% of the food produced in the U.S. goes uneaten. Yet 1 in 8 Americans struggles with hunger. Well, this year on Business Connections, we've talked a lot about food deserts. That's been affecting us here in the Dayton area, and food insecurity throughout the Dayton region. But we haven't really talked about the role that food waste plays in that issue. I guess the question a lot of people have had is, why does the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce care about this topic? We're a business community, we are a business organization, right? Well, we know as businesses that our number one investment, our most important resource, is our workforce. And so having a healthy community, healthy families, and healthy employees relates to business success. And that is important to our community as a whole. And today we are talking about that topic with one of our chamber members, Kroger. And I want to welcome Erin Rolfes. She is here, Corporate Affairs with Kroger Company. You're based in Cincinnati, right?
That's right, but my coverage area extends up to Dayton and Springdale. So I spend a lot of time up here with you folks as well, and we love the Dayton community.
And we love having you. Well, thank you for being with me today and talking about this issue. You know, Kroger actually made some news here recently with this new initiative, and that's what we're here to talk about today. It's called Zero Hunger, Zero Waste.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right.
Can you tell me, well, first of all, let's just start with the issue. Tell me about the effect that food insecurity has on our region and just folks in general.
Yeah, unfortunately, hunger continues to be a growing issue in our region, across the state, and across the U.S. as a whole. You know, you mentioned 1 in 8 families goes hungry, and when you look at kids, it's 1 in 6 kids. So we really want to take some time and say, what can we do as the nation's largest grocer to be able to address this issue and help make changes? So that's kind of where we started when we looked at it, and the hunger piece makes sense for us. You know, Kroger's been a founding member of Feeding America, so we've spent a lot of time giving to food pantries throughout the years. But when we looked last year in September, launched in Hunger Action Month, September 2017, we said, let's figure out a way to really move the needle on this. So we combined the hunger side and then the waste side that you mentioned to say, we can really make a difference in this, diverting this 40% of food that we throw away to actual food that folks who need it can consume.
First of all, I have to say that I'm very proud to say that a local, regionally local company, a chamber member, is taking a look at this issue. It's really great to hear. Can you tell me about what this initiative, I know you have a plan, you have a website out there that has this information if people want some more information. Can you talk about what the initiative includes? What is Kroger's plan going forward?
Sure. High level, our goal is to eliminate hunger in the communities we call home and then end waste as a company by 2025. And we kind of see those two things coming hand in hand. You look at the grocery store, you see that beautiful produce and that great meat that you want to take home and cook for your family. And occasionally, sometimes things sit on the shelf a little bit too long. That doesn't mean that it's not great to eat. It just means that maybe visually, as you're scanning the shelves, you see a bruised peach or an apple that kind of looks a little like it's been out there for a couple of days. And for a lot of us, we don't know what to do with it. I'm the same way. I get a thing of strawberries that might have a couple dented, and I'm like, okay, I can't eat these, let's just toss them. But working with all of this has really opened my eyes to say that food is still good. And just because it might not be as visually appealing, it doesn't mean that it doesn't taste as good. So that's kind of our first step to say, what can we do with this food that might not want to sell, but is still perfectly fine to eat? And then moving through that whole plan, we've outlined a few steps. One of the ones I'm most excited about is our commitment to donating 3 billion with a B meals to folks before 2025. And that's healthy and balanced meals. So if you think of those can drives that we did when we were in high school, you give the can of corn that's been sitting on your shelf for a year, and folks might not know what to do with it. And it also kind of takes away that dignity of being able to shop for yourself. Just because someone's food insecure doesn't mean they don't have the right to pick out the food that they want to cook for their family.
Right. I love those ideas. And you're right. I think we've become so accustomed to, you said when we're picking out produce, it has to be perfect.
Right.
If it has a blemish, we can't use it. And I think changing that perception can go a long way. So I think those are really good points. What's the goal? What's the end goal here? And what is the timeline? timeline look like for a zero hunger, zero waste?
Sure. I mean, very, very clearly stated, ending hunger in our community and eliminating waste as a company by 2025. So whatever that means to end hunger in Cincinnati and Dayton by 2025, that's our moonshot star goal. When it comes to ending waste in our company, we've had a couple of exciting announcements this year when we announced that we're also ending use of plastic bags by 2025. That's another big goal that we have looking forward. But the way we're starting with that is we're working with partners like the World Wildlife Foundation. We've worked with them for forever when it comes to sustainable seafood, and now we've asked them to take a look at, what is Kroger doing that we can make a few changes so that it's a little bit easier to reduce. We call it shrink, but the stuff that we throw away from our stores. So what are the kind of small and easy things that we can do to say, hey, let's make our company a little bit less wasteful?
Right. That is not a small undertaking. No. I saw that, and it was just recently that announcement was made. It hit the news. The elimination of plastic bags by 2025. Is work already underway to try to figure out logistically how do you make that happen when the company has been built around those plastic bags for so long?
Right. Yeah, it's a huge request of our customers, which is why we're giving ourselves so much time to figure it out. It's not just us, but I know that I've got the reusable bags, but they sit under my sink at home. So what is the mindset change that we have to make sure that gets to be an easy thing for our customers to do as well as for us? So we're starting in QFC, which is one of our divisions out west under the Kroger banner, and it's a smaller division, and since they're in California, they're kind of on the way there since they have requirements that we don't here. But once we learn and see what they're doing and some of the other divisions throughout the country, we'll take those learnings here and say, what do we need to do to get ourselves and more importantly our customers ready?
Absolutely. So how do you start? I mean, do you have teams put together kind of focusing on each aspect, each facet of this plan, or how do you even tackle something this large?
Yeah, one bite at a time. No pun intended. But truly, it's a large issue that we're looking at. So there are me's across the country in their own communities, getting to know folks like the Dayton Chamber and your great champions here in Dayton, like the Dayton Food Bank and Shared Harvest, and saying, what are those pieces that you've been missing? What are the things that we can do as your corporate partner to actually make a difference and move the needle for your community? Communities are changing all the time, and it needs to be someone who's really focused on ending hunger to make that a reality.
Why does Kroger care about something like this? I mean, you're a business, right?
Sure.
So we know sometimes businesses can get caught up in the bottom line and turning a profit. So why focus on an issue like this?
For us, it just makes sense. As the nation's largest grocer, looking at the idea that we throw away 40% of the food that we create, that's not just wasteful and the idea of the zero waste and it fills our landfills, but it's an absurdity that so many people go hungry when we have the food to feed them. And we figured that we were the right ones to be positioned to kind of put these two issues together and figure out the answer. And quite frankly, we're not holding the playbook. Once we figure it out, we're happy to say this is what we learned, and let us help you implement it across the U.S.
Right. It makes total sense. What can we do to help here in the community?
Eat that ugly food. No.
Only eat the ugly food. I can do that.
No, I would say just kind of open your fridge tonight and take a look at what's inside and say, is obviously don't eat it if it's moldy, but if it's a little bruised or it's been there for a bit and you can kind of eat it, or maybe it's an apple that's a little old, chop it up and put it into something else. And if it's a strawberry, make a nice fruit drink for yourself and your family.
Right.
There are good opportunities to not just throw things away. And I just joined the Kroger company in February of 2018. And it's really given me pause to say, what is it in my fridge that I should be eating instead of just kind of tossing it out? And then challenging yourself and your friends and coworkers to give a bag of food to a food bank around you, whether it's a free store or a Dayton Food Bank or Shared Harvest. Really thinking about that balanced meal. A lot of folks give at holiday times because that's the time to give, but there are hungry people all year round. So just give that bag of fresh food. Meat is great, produce is great. They don't get a lot of that. So just thinking all year round about the folks who have needs in your community.
Right. I would imagine if you get in the habit of doing that while you're shopping, throw something in the cart to donate as well. Once you get in that habit, you won't even notice that, you're doing it every time, and you can really make a difference.
Yeah, and at every Kroger store in our region, you can ask to round up your order to the nearest dollar, and that money will go straight to your regional food bank that's a Feeding America partner. So here in Dayton, it'd either be the Dayton Food Bank or Shared Harvest. And that's your money, that's not our money. It just goes straight on to the folks who are in need.
Oh, I did not realize that. That's a good little tidbit. Nice. You mentioned when we were talking earlier something you can do when you are checking out at Kroger to give back to those organizations. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's round up. Just ask your cashier to round up your order to the next dollar, and all that money will go straight to your local food banks here with our Feeding America partners. So again, that's the food bank in Dayton and Shared Harvest.
So you just ask them, can I round it up to the nearest dollar?
Yep.
And donate, and they'll know what to do?
They'll know exactly what to do.
I never knew that, and I shop at Kroger every week. So
well, you can be forgiven. It's a pretty new program. So.
Okay. Oh, good, good. But I will say that I am the champion in our home for eating ugly food.
Great.
I am not. I'm not a fan of food waste, and so as much as my husband doesn't like it, I tell him if it doesn't smell funny, it's fine. It's fine. It may not look pretty, but it's fine.
We'll get those husbands on board.
We will. Those darn husbands. Well, Erin, is there anything else you want to add about this campaign and what Kroger is doing?
We're really excited to launch it. We've kind of just lapped our first year in the campaign, and the things that we've been able to accomplish are great in and of ourselves, but we really do need that help from the community to bring us ideas. So part of our big plan here is a $10 million innovation fund that we're going straight to the community to say, is there something that we're not doing that you have this phenomenal idea for? So bring those to us, and there'll be a link on our website as to how you can go through that whole process of applying for a grant and things like that.
Wow.
But don't stop thinking about new things that you can do. And again, just think about giving 365 even when it's not that holiday time, when it's so easy to think about it.
Yeah, well, I love that idea. At the Chamber, obviously, we love innovation, and we love those ideas, whether it's to solve a problem or come up with a business. We love people here in the area who come up with new ideas. So
yeah, and we can't do it by ourselves. No company innovates on its own, so we need all of our friends and family and coworkers to help us make it.
Absolutely. Well, kudos to Kroger for launching this initiative and really taking a hard look at this issue. Like I said, it's something that we've talked about a lot here in the Dayton area. We've talked about here on this program, Business Connections, and the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce has been involved in this issue in different ways, but we really have some great champions here in the Dayton area tackling it, and we're thankful for all of those folks as well. So thank you, Erin, for being with me today. What's the website people can go to get more information?
Sure. If you just go to www.thekrogerco.com, you can learn more.
thekrogerco.com. All right. Thank you, Erin. We'd love to hear from you. You can go to DaytonChamber.org to get more information about the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. And we're also on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook, Twitter, basically all the social media outlets. I'm Holly Allen, Director of Marketing and Communications with the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being with us today. Stay tuned for a message from our President and CEO, Phil Parker.
It's hard to believe, but hunger affects virtually every county and region in our country. We're a nation blessed with abundant resources and generous people, yet some still put their children to bed at night with empty bellies. For years, our community has worked on numerous projects that help those who either live in shelters or were able to access food pantries. However, today, there is still much food that goes to waste from restaurants, grocery stores, and food banks, and far too many still need our help. Enter Kroger, a well-known Ohio company headquartered in Cincinnati with a huge presence in the Miami Valley. Kroger has thrown its mighty weight behind a new initiative it's calling Zero Hunger, Zero Waste, featured on our program today. This can be a real game changer for many communities, as Kroger is the second largest general retailer behind Walmart in the nation. With almost 3,000 locations and over 400,000 committed employees, it has the might and the muscle to help solve this issue by adding its expertise and resources to communities like ours. Kroger's chairman and CEO, Rodney McMullen, has set some lofty goals to helping end hunger and eliminate food waste in America by 2025. This is a great example of a large, strong, successful retailer using its resources and expertise to fix an issue that's not foreign to them, but in its wheelhouse. I hope you've learned something today about this initiative created by a private sector business born close to home in downtown Cincinnati. As a member of our Regional Chamber of Commerce, we're proud of their efforts to reduce and we hope eliminate hunger in the Dayton region and in our nation.